Hello, hello, hello! I hope you're doing extremely well! Welcome to this new video of my series, How About Living in Nice, mesdames et messieurs! And I swear, this is not a poster, it's the real view. Yes. Okay, I know what you're doing there in front of your screen. You're probably counting the number of days since my last video. Well, let me help you. It's been... oh my god, it's been way too long! 5 months! That's too many days! Well guys, I still haven't found my superpower. I'm working on it. I wish I could have the multiple fab superpower, but I've only found the do the best you can normal power till now, so I am actually doing the best I can. But here we are. I'm back, and I'm super happy to make this new video and have you on board. So let's make the best of it. I am Fabrizio Carminati, and we are at FRH, your personal property hunters on the French Riviera. So yes, today we're in Nice, Nice à la Bella, as the song says. Viva, viva, Nice à la Bella. See, I am ready for France Got Talent. Nice is a beautiful city of the French Riviera. It's the city where I live, considered by the true Niçois as la plus belle ville du monde. And I tend to share this feeling. A little more music? Voilà!
Oh la mia bella Nisa, regina degli flu, l'Etiopia Ulissa, io canterai tu giù.
There is a lot to say about Nice. I will try to give you this time the big picture to keep a reasonable length for this video, otherwise we'll make a video of 2 hours. I will surely deeply explore in future videos the different areas of the city. Actually, I already did one video about Cimiez a year ago. You can find it if you browse my YouTube channel. It's on my YouTube channel. It's called How About Living in Cimiez. I'm just making a little pause here because I'm going to take off my sweater because it's very, very warm today. So if you don't mind, I will just keep my shirt on. It's what, the 8th, 9th of November, and it's pretty warm actually. Excellent temperature today. Maybe a little bit too much for the season, but let's take it, right? So, today I wanted to start with a little quiz. Are you ready? Yes? Okay, let's go. Question number 1. How many people live in Nice? Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Answer A, 350,000. Answer B, 600,000. Answer C, lots. And the answer is A! If you had the right answer, write it in the comments here under the video. I know you won't cheat. There are around 350,000 inhabitants in Nice, right? Which makes it the biggest city of the French Riviera. The second one being Antibes, with 5 times less people. Nice is the 5th biggest city in France. So yes, Nice is a big city for France, but I think it's still a reasonable size for a city. It is actually 200 times smaller than Hong Kong. Nice is the capital of the French Riviera and is located at the east side if we consider the usual but non-administrative borders of the French Riviera from Hyères to Menton, and certainly located at the heart of the most dynamic part of the Riviera. So now a new question, number 2, about the history of Nice. When was Nice attached to France? Answer A, 1350. Answer B, 1860. Answer C, who cares? Okay, now, if you answered C, please unsubscribe from my YouTube channel right now. It's answer B. Yes, it's in 1860, after a referendum, that the county of Nice became French and that the Alpes-Maritimes department was created. Before that, Nice has been repeatedly under various Italian or French kingdoms, independent for some 70 years after that, then under the county of Provence, then head of its county under the Savoy States, then French, then under Kingdom of Sardinia, and then finally French again. Talking about French, Nice owed them the very paradoxical fact to have a hill overlooking the bay and the harbor. That's where we are standing right now, a hill named La Colline du Château, or the Castle Hill. Well, there is no castle. Indeed, the castle and its fortress was destroyed in 1706 by the French, more precisely by Lafayette's troops, by the order of Louis XIV. So, no castle on the Castle Hill, but this is how the castle would like if the castle was still here. This is a 3D projection, a 3D model that was done by a Niçois architect. This, of course, is a very, very rough summary that will probably give a heart attack to any history teacher. But if I start going into details, this video, again, will last a couple of hours, or maybe a couple of days, actually. There's so much to say about Nice history. Anyway, all you need to know to be able to follow a conversation between old Niçois in one of the city's bistro are the name of the two heroes of the history of Nice. The first is Caterina Segurana, who is meant to have repelled the Saracens in 1543 by showing them her ass. Well, sorry, it was never said how it looked like. Probably horrible, right? And the second one is Giuseppe Garibaldi, who is to Nice what Napoleon is to France. So very, very important, if you consider that Napoleon was important, of course. Another important part of Nice history is the end of the 19th century, because it has left so many traces in the city architecture. It's the period when the French Riviera became a winter resort destination for the British upper class. By 1820, the city of Nice had more than 100 wealthy British families and even an Anglican church still in operation. I hope you can hear me because the waves are pretty big today, so it's kind of noisy. Anyway, c'est la nature, n'est-ce pas? Queen Victoria, who fell under the spell of the French Riviera, spent 7 winters here before her death. She stayed in Nice as well as in Hyères and in Menton. There are dozens of beautiful villas or hotels now transformed in apartment buildings from that period, like the Regina, the Majestic, mostly on the hills of Nice and especially Cimiez. That's where the Regina is. Of course, we owe to that period our famous Promenade des Anglais. The mythic promenade didn't always look as good as it is now. Check out this old picture from around 1850. The promenade was just a dirt track. The structural works to make it a road and a large pedestrian path started in 1861, and later on the beaches were also developed. It has now been listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2021. The promenade with its bay are an incredible decor for running, swimming, walking, riding, or just relax with a chilled rosé glass. By the way, Nice beaches are made of bees, actually. So a good advice, if you're not the fuck your nap kind, I suggest you use the triple layer technique. A beach mattress, a bit thick, at least 3 centimeters of foam, your towel on top, and then the napkin for the picnic. And the rosé, of course. So what about the bike tour on the promenade? You ready for it? Okay, let's go! Alright, after this nice ride, let's talk about the different areas of Nice. Nice is a big city, and like all big cities, there are many different areas and suburbs, each one with its own characteristics. So let's see the map. First of all, the topography of Nice is very special. You have a relatively flat area here, where most of the city center is concentrated, surrounded by a circle of hills here, and then you have some kind of canyons called les vallons. Generally, you have a main road down in the canyon, delimited by apartment buildings on both sides, and many little roads climbing in the hills. In most of these canyons, the little rivers have been covered to be able to build the roads. All these hilly areas are part of Nice. They are residential areas, very pleasant, where you really have a countryside feeling while still being at 10 to 20 minutes from the city center or the airport. These are areas where you can get a bit more value for money when buying a house than in other more fashionable areas of the French Riviera. And you can find nice sea views too. This is the airport, the second airport in France in terms of traffic and destinations connected. And then you have another part of flatland along the Var River called the Echo Valley, about which I will talk a little later on this video. So how does that translate in terms of real estate prices? The most expensive areas in Nice are this one, that I'm going to circle in red here, starting with the most expensive one, Le Mont-Boron. Le Mont-Boron, sorry. It is expensive for many reasons. The number of houses or buildings are limited, there is a lot of greenery, it's quiet, you have sea views from almost anywhere, and also it is connected to Villefranche and Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat, where prices are skyrocketing. Mont-Boron prices vary from 6,000 to 17,000 euros per square meter, or an average of roughly 10,000 euros. Then you have the port area here, and a very charming old town with average prices of 7,000 euros, ranking from 4,000 euros, extremely rare, to 10,500 euros, more or less. The next one is the area called Le Carré d'Or, a very central part of Nice, here. Let's say for the most expensive part, it's here from the coastline to 4 blocks away, with price ranking from 5,000 to 12,000 euros per square meter, of course, and an average of around 7,000 euros. The closer to the sea and Place Masséna, which is Nice's main square, the most expensive. The rest of the city center here or here being pretty expensive too. The other areas are 3 hills, Cimiez here, Guéraud here, or Fabron here. The average price for an apartment in those areas will be around 5,000 to 6,000 euros, and for a house around 7,000 euros. Then you have more reasonable areas. Okay, when I say reasonable, I don't mean cheap, I mean less expensive, which are these 2 areas here at the north of the Carré d'Or and at the north of the port area here, because they are at the moment more working class or traditional, let's say, neighborhoods. And then you have the area that I was talking about before, which is an incredible mix of working class, retiree, businessmen, artists, rich people. It's the hills area here, where you can find beautiful houses at still good prices. And as some of them have been owned for 30 years or more and need some works, there is room for negotiation. This area is very nice, it's just a bit cheaper because George Clooney hasn't bought a house here already. And it's true. Part of the fame of the Mont-Boron is due to Tina Turner and Elton John, who bought a place there. By the way, can you believe that Tina Turner complained about the noise from a hotel close to her property? I mean, Tina Turner! I guess everybody gets old, right? Now, the only part where you can be close to the sea at relatively good prices is this area here, along the Avenue de la Californie. It's not very charming, but the sea is at 3 minutes walking, it's well connected to the airport and the city center by tram, and so it's easy to rent. Average prices here are of 6,000 euros facing the seaside, on the promenade, or 5,000 euros along the avenue. If you are on the Avenue de la Californie, you don't have a sea view. So, just 2 more things before I let you go back to where you were doing before. Firstly, I just wanted to say a quick word about the different styles of architecture that you can find in Nice, which is a melting pot of periods and styles. Here we are at Place du Pin, and you have a good example of the Niçois architecture, l'architecture niçoise, quite simple with those very typical small balconies and the colors dating from the county of Savoy period, with little openings. And you have these colors, yellow, orange, red, that are typical of the Niçois architecture. Now in the Quartier des Musiciens in Nice, and I wanted to show you this other type of buildings, which are, let's see if I can show you better. Yeah, this is a bourgeois style building, very Parisian. And the Quartier des Musiciens in Nice, it's, oh my God, what's disappearing there? Ooh. And the Quartier des Musiciens, it's one of the suburbs of Nice that has a lot of buildings like that, with Avenue Verdi, Victor Hugo. And let me show you some pictures about this nice bourgeois style buildings. And by the way, we have found in this beautiful building here a nice apartment, very nice apartment for our American clients, Mr. and Mrs. Bernard. 91 square meters, beautiful apartment in the Rue Verdi, in the heart of the Musicien suburb in Nice. And there, in the heart of the Carré d'Or, Place Masséna, the beautiful Place Masséna, you see that balcony there? That's where we found a rental for our dear client Dawn, who will move in just before Thanksgiving. There are many other styles, Art Deco, Contemporary, etc. I will talk about it in a future video. Finally, I wanted to talk briefly about the incredible evolution of Nice. This city has drastically changed in the last 2 decades and is still changing. Of course, that makes a lot of works all throughout the city, but it's really worth it. I've been living here for 23 years now, and I saw the incredible evolution of this city. When I arrived, Nice was a noisy, elderly provincial city, and now it's becoming a real gem. So much has been done in terms of transportation. 3 new tram lines connecting east, west, and north to south, and connecting also the newly built areas like the Eco Valley, tons of new cycling paths, and much less cars in the city center. More greenery with the Promenade du Paillon that keep on expanding with grass and trees taking the place of 1970s horrendous buildings. There is also this enormous project at the west of the city, the Eco Valley, with the new conference center, high-speed train station, hotels, office buildings, and of course the continuously evolving Promenade des Anglais with, at its east end, a rehabilitation project of the port area coming soon. So yes, Nice is evolving in the right direction, and here are some before and after images to prove it. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a thumb up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I promise I won't let pass another 5 months before the next video, so I'll see you again shortly. In the meantime, I will leave you with some other images of Nice, so take care and relax. Bye now!